Ebema hwefo nyina akwa ba ha Pinax TV ensema hodo abeto yapono so ne updates dodo na ye de ebremo don hwe di animi de updates dodo na ebremo na ye bo hwi ni akọ the presidency President John Dramani Mahama sisi ensembe na ebobo eba ewo honom Christian Council omode ensema betudwa na omose sen omose National Cathedral na President Nana Danko Akuffo o hyase se obesi a wentumi enwie no omo ehwe na omo president say onhwe na omo eni hujuma say de be omo betimi awie sa National Cathedral na nyina edim say National Cathedral sika adi nka kom empo asese amana keke ne atu ewo honom no sika akom no edoso pa anti president by no wahwe say omo enhwehwem ama former finance minister Nancy and Yan and Tiempo say sika omututu nyina dana kwam ti afei eni ebehwehwem so omo asika no kodu omo hono na sefata say etutu as esika no enti omo e de aba ahye president enko wonhwe na National Cathedral na beboa Ghana pa ama a lot of juma ebeba ne Christopher asom the artifact itself ebe serve as tourism impo de ama oman Ghana nti omomoa president nhwe no ne na pamfo omomoa na National Cathedral no ensama back to life no mo enye project no na omo wie ti omo de some way ekosia president wo na kache na omo de eto nanim ti enkonekotie how Christian Council omo present omo issues de to president anim na ewi ayensamra president in response a ode ma omo no de no so abram ti enkotie Christian Council na yemra sesie.
What should we do now? I'm talking to you as my children. If I were asked to make suggestions, I would say quietly to our government, move fast. Move diplomatically. Move wisely.
While we are aware of the prevailing economic difficulties, we believe that the cathedral's completion under a transparent, accountable, and inclusive framework would serve as a spiritual and cultural landmark for generations to come. We therefore humbly recommend Your Excellency the following three things: that government reaffirms its commitment to the project, to its continuation and completion, ensuring transparency in financial administration. 2, that a broad-based funding structure involving churches, the private sector, international partners be developed to reduce the fiscal pressure on the state. And 3, that the cathedral be positioned as a national interdenominational project that fosters unity among our people. Item number 4, the anti-graft stance of government.
Anti-Christian Council of Ghana no mo de omo nsem etudwa omo hye president senka onhwe nanka National Cathedral a yeshase CAC no onhwe nanka omo incomplete ehu sikasem ne na administration ni bibia wo hu bia nanka onhwe na embra back said be ya yebetimi awie National Cathedral na Christopher yebetimi akosum wom yebetimi aye National Day for fasting and prayers kra wo ho ebe serve as stories me de adwuma bebre ene be ba oman mu ama Christian Council for so de abetudwa asese President John Dramani Mahama so de abetudwa HS CID bia yebehu se enche bia yebehu se obe take control over the National Cathedral na omo ebetimi ahye na omo assess bio already no ehun popoye kakra ba bi mu se ye ntene no mfanye hospital ebi mu so se ba bi esi no ankasa enye ni nyina ye nsem o so mo hwe na omo eka ho asem ansa no maba back se omo besa di National Cathedral ni ho dwuma se da medi kan de tu dwa no so ehun sikasem ene ehun sensem bebre President Ashe say yenye ho forensic audit. President John Dramani Mahama sanso di tudwa. Yebe koni akohwe no response. No no nsem odi tudwa ne say ono asori dan sie de enka enye na Akuffo adokra na etipen no because ono o share ase say o si asori dan nye ne oko Assemblies of God na sorry oko Ringway omo a church building plant a church project omo ye we make sure so ono kwa we gina na nemu esi asori dan makoma edu eno no komu osofo baby oda osofo wo ne kitchen ni bedroom kama hall baby kama asori makoma edu nti nya de obesi ama oman Ghana nyina na ontimi nye na embom ehun nsem edoso yenko tie president emom wa sha omobo Christian Council wa sha omobo se bibia atoto din wi a omo back na National Cathedral no mowie na yenko tie ehun nsem a president edi tudwa wo she National Christian Council for boy yenko ne samra sisi.
Now the issue on the National Cathedral. The National Cathedral Board of Trustees ordered an audit into the accounts of the National Cathedral. The audit was published, and there were some issues that bubbled out of the audit. But there are two kinds of audit. There's a normal audit that you yourself choose your auditor and ask him to come and audit you. And then he audits and presents the report to you. There's that kind of auditor. Then there's the auditor who is asked to come and do a forensic audit. And so we got a copy of the audit that had been commissioned by the Board of Trustees. And as president, I directed that a forensic audit be conducted. We want to know what happened. Before we go forward, we must know what happened. And so we're waiting for the report of the forensic audit. Once that forensic audit has been done, then we can decide what the way forward is. I am a Christian, and I believe that building a house where we can worship God is a good thing. I was one of the chief fundraisers for my own Assemblies of God church building where I worship at Ringway Gospel Center. And I built 10 rural, we call them temples, in 10 villages for the Assemblies of God church. Of course, I solicited support from different people, and we built them. They have quarters for the pastor. He's got his bedroom, he's got his kitchen, he's got his living room, and then we have the church hall that can seat up to about 150 people. And so I do believe in building, an interdenominational place where we can worship. But it must be done in consultation with all of us. All of us must decide, how we want to do it, what the scope is, and how much it should cost. I believe that at this time and age, with all the problems we have, $400 million to build a cathedral is excessive. I know Nigeria have built an ecumenical center, and I've been there. It's a decent, beautiful place, and they built it for $40 million. And so maybe some of the things are excessive, Let's find somewhere, all of us, on National Day of Thanksgiving and Worship, we can all go there and worship God and thank Him for what He has done for us. And so when that forensic audit is over, our intention is to have a broad-based consultation with the Christian community to see how we can build a place that is decent for us to worship. But apart from that, make it a center where people can come and, look at its architecture and all that, and find that Christ, has a place in our hearts, in our nation. And so when the time comes, we'll do that consultation, and we'll decide together how we want to go forward.
President John Dramani Mahama didn't some tuja about National Cathedral. See a back na ya babisino na NDC for ankasa ebi mo start kasa ebi mo eni nje ho. Even how President John Dramani Mahama didn't some tuja about National Cathedral no ebi mo eni nje ho a lot of critics about within the NDC party na ankasa ebi mo ababe kasa omo eche said no. This is a project Ghanaians rejected. And Tisoma reject here. Christian Council for nyomo na mobabe nunu president mobe dada no na wasa ko back say ekwa ko see National Cathedral no na enye adea Ghana for do na eni eje ho enti eno ena mo mugina so a omoto abade ti a New Patriotic Party enti e mo enko the president enya ma hu say president ye Christoni mapanti omobe ya na say obeka asem bi say National Cathedral on to aso the head president megas oh ye beto aso ne ade no ma ye no yodium sa na president asako hyase no akoto aso enti enko ne enkotie ye Julius Kwame Anthony ono government spokesperson our NDC ni nsem odi tudwa kire say Ghanaians rejected the National Cathedral. It should remain so. President John Dramani Mahama eni kwan say odi ne sasa akoka bi enko ne enkotie Kwame Anthony ni samra sisi.
I think the video was circulating for all of us to see. I do not think that, fair-minded people who have some modicum of respect for the suffering youth of this country, who returned an overwhelming rejection of the New Patriotic Party, its policies, including the National Cathedral, should be advocating that we continue this project which the people of Ghana rejected. The National Cathedral was on the ballot. The people rejected it. Do we not, as leadership of institutions as important as the council, the Christian Council, have any modicum of respect for the Ghanaian citizens, the individuals who queued on January 7 and said we have rejected this? You know that the National Cathedral was on the ballot. It was an important conversation that led into the 2024 election. It has been rejected. Let it come to an end. I have heard the president's position on the matter that he thinks that $450 million is too much of such a project. He cited examples of similar projects that cost only $40 million. That's in Nigeria and other countries. That's 40% of what was sunk in a hole in a swimming pool. You know, I do not know whether the president intends to take this advice. But one thing I know for certain is that the president of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, is a person who has come to understand how to read the mood of this country and act accordingly. And if he is going to be consistent with that, I would, with all respect to him as the boss of my bosses, suggest that he keeps that observation and not allow the Christian Council to sway him to undertake this. The people of Ghana will not forgive us.
Julius, how about this side? And I've seen people go on that tangent on social media following this meeting. At this point, we have already committed funds into the projects. That money, I'm not too sure we're going to get back from anywhere. So if they say they want to go ahead, okay, maybe this is where we are. If you want to continue. But we are not going to sink a peswa in addition to what we have already spent. How about that?
But initially, the Christian Council also and the associates of the Christian Council who had a posture that they were going to raise funds and complete this project on their own. It appears that they have failed. If you look at the audit report that was presented on National Cathedral, I had the privilege of reading that firsthand. You would even see clear infractions, mobile money transactions that could not be accounted for. They have demonstrated that at their level, they are not even able to manage the resources that the people of Ghana, out of their benevolence and charity, would be given to them to undertake this project. Another consideration you have to make is that this is a state land. How it should be used, the fact that that place was chosen in the first place is questionable. I think that the way forward for that place, how it should be used, should be by general consensus of the Ghanaian people. And there is an overwhelming call that persons who have been involved in this illegality, because spendings that went on there, a lot of them were illegal, unapproved by Parliament. I think that what the Christian Council should be doing is joining the calls for these recoveries and the prosecution of persons who have been involved in these activities. As for the continuation of this project, I am not willing.
At their cost, not at our cost.
I am saying that they have not proven to be capable hands in doing this. If they were, why was President Akuffo illegally spending from the contingency vote through his cousin Ken Ovoriata? Why did that happen? So I think instead of leaving this prime state land at the hands of persons who have clearly demonstrated so far that they are incapable of, getting this adventure of theirs to a conclusion, we should be rethinking as a people how we want to put that very prime national resource into use. This national cathedral conversation should be disbanded as quickly as possible. I do not think that it serves the national interest. The people of Ghana do not need a national cathedral. It is not a need. We don't need it. It doesn't add any value to us as a people. We don't need it.
Let me get the thoughts on Doctor on this. Doc, we started the conversation this morning, and there are very interesting views coming through. Again, I want to start with you on the tangents that Julius left off. $450 million has already gone into this project, we are told. This is what we see. At least the last time I went there,
All right, so President John Dramani Mahama Akasa, and there has been some critics coming from the government spokesperson, and also the Nensamababe Tuja, what say, yes, the good people of Ghana, Makasa, in Tinya, was a president, Ekahwasem crab you, now you move on as a nation. Let's decide on our plot, is a government property, and here, this a plot in the bay. There has been an external and then an internal audit. Internal audit, Board of Trustees, Nagasana, and an external audit no and a President John Dramani Mahama say omonya sa audit ni wie na ye hu niema e komu for $450 million no ne yenhwe say ye beto aso and answer ye nto aso anti president akasa. Moving on, ye call 30